Today from The Guardian, jury-free trials proposed to save criminal justice system from collapse. From Haroon Sadiq. Definitely trust everything he's got to say. Yep, love that. I love it. This is fantastic news. Fantastic news if you're a chippy northern prick like me and you like being proved right all the time. I mean, it's not very good news if you like living in a free country and you can actually be trialled by a jury of your peers. Not very good news for you then. But you know, I was right all along. So every cloud has a silver lining, eh? Okay, this is amazing. This is amazing. How long have I been telling you? No matter what they do you for, get a jury. Get a jury. No sane people are going to commit you for thought crimes. Anyone that's watched Demolition Man will feel a little twinge of guilt if they try and lock you up for saying mean things. So get a jury trial. That's what anyone with any sense has been saying for ages. If Lucy Connolly and a dozen others had have demanded a trial by jury, they would never ended up in the nick in the first place. The jury trial is anathema to authoritarian scum like Keir Starmer and, well, 80% of the House of Commons and the House of Lords and almost every judge, lawyer and activist civil servant in the UK. So, of course, they want to get rid of the jury trial. We all saw this coming. Helen Keller would have saw this coming if she had a bin liner stapled to her head. Don't worry though, it's only on the recommendation of this camp left-wing extremist in a stupid flamboyant costume. It's only his recommendation, so I'm sure they won't follow through. Senior Judge Sir Brian Leveson unveils radical proposals to clear the backlog in Crown Courts. Thousands of defendants in England and Wales could lose the right to a jury trial under plans designed to save the criminal justice system from collapse. Save it. I love the framing. I love the framing they use. We're doing it for your own benefit, lads. We need to save the criminal justice system. Shut up and do some work. Pick up your pen. In fact, no, let's just get a stamp. Deportation. Wham. Soon as someone comes in, you don't even need to hear the case, do you? Here's a radical idea. If someone comes in and they're an illegal immigrant, let's not waste the time with the court case. You're only going to give them a slapped wrist anyway, because they're not ginger and from Aberdeen. You're only going to give them a slap wrist. This idea that you have to prosecute them, or a bloke sneaks over from Mozambique and horses one into some innocent teenage girl. We have to prosecute him first. We have to make him serve his time in a soft English prison where he'll spend 3 weeks eating steak and chips, and then we let him out and then, don't bother deporting him. Yeah, we've got to do that because that's English justice. Kiss my swinging beanbag. We don't need to do that. If someone gets brought in and they're an illegal immigrant, I don't care what the crime is, stamp the casebook. Deportation. Drag them out, put them on a C-130 and leave it parked until it's full, because you can just stamp them all. Obviously, I'd do my due diligence. I'd have 20 stamps and 5 spare desks in the judge's chambers and just work through them all. Get the lot of them on a plane and throw them out. There you go. Justice system saved. Easy that, wasn't it? I may as well leave my head up here because I'm going to be interrupting it every 2 minutes. The whole story's farcical. Sir Brian Leveson, a former judge asked by the government to come up with proposals to tackle the record courts backlog, said he had been forced to make recommendations he didn't rejoice in. The British government, the most authoritarian, devious scum of perhaps all the Western governments currently in power. Everything they do is painfully obvious, as subtle as a punch in the dick. This is unbelievable. I mean, we don't want to lock pensioners up for tweeting, but we're being forced to, don't you know? Course you are, lads. Course you are. You're very regretful about taking everybody's rights off them, aren't you? And we can't enforce the border. We're being forced to let 200,000 surprise sex enthusiasts in every month. It's not your fault. Historically, only defendants facing minor offences in a magistrate's court had been denied the right to a jury trial, which has long been synonymous in England and Wales with the right to a fair trial. But if Leveson's recommendations are implemented, when Leveson's recommendations are implemented, the right could be removed for offences such as sexual assault, racially or religiously aggravated strangulation. That must be a typo. That must be a typo. Religiously aggravated strangulation. Oh, I'm sorry, that's actually got me laughing out loud. Harassment and child abduction. Child abduction. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. As I said, comedy gold. It writes itself nowadays, doesn't it? Racially aggravated strangulation. Like what? If I was outside the police station strangling me granny, you old bastard. Copper walks out. Is that your granny? Yeah. Same race as you, innit? Fine. But if it's the bloke from the local Chinese takeaway, I said egg fried rice, not special fried rice, you flaxen skinned little... Whoa, you can't do that. 25 years if it's racially motivated strangulation. So there we go. Don't know what's going on there. Anyway, let's get to the meat of it. Recommendations in the 378-page report published on Wednesday, that's today, include the creation of a new division of the Crown Court in which a judge and two magistrates, a bent judge and two bent magistrates, hear either way offences, those in which the defendant can currently choose to be heard by either a magistrate or a jury. Removing the right to be tried in the Crown Court, reclassifying some offences so they can be tried only in a magistrate's court, trial by judge alone for serious and complex cases, and the right of all Crown Court defendants to elect to be tried by a judge alone. Amazing. I don't know why they use the term either way offences, but apparently that's some theft, burglary, fraud, sexual assault. They're not minor issues at all. I'm sorry. If you break into my nana's house, burgle her, snap one off on a kitchen floor out of spite, and then finger her on the way out the window, I don't think that's a small issue. No, call me a bluff old traditionalist, but that's just me. Leveson said, I don't rejoice in these recommendations. Yeah, keep telling us you don't want to do it. Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Do they think we are totally stupid? I don't want to take all your rights off you, but I will. Do I want a curtail jury trial? Would I like to? No. Yeah, of course you don't. He said in the report there was a real risk of total system collapse in the near future. Well, there's total financial collapse, so we might as well have total system collapse there. It's totally fair. I love that. All on Starmer's watch. They haven't even been in a year and a half, and everything's gone completely arse over tit. So that's brilliant. Let's end it with this nice little piece by the excellent Rupert Law and listen to the very telling response from the knobhead he's talking to. Rupert tweeted this out. I asked in Parliament, why does the government appear to be so terrified of decent British people sitting on juries?
The jury trial has been embedded deeply into the British psyche and indeed into our constitution, really since Henry II, who introduced the jury trial to fairly deal with land disputes. Indeed, it's embedded into the US Constitution through the Sixth Amendment, and it's embedded there to protect against biased judges, oppressive prosecutions, and it's there to safeguard individual liberties. I have severe doubts about our judiciary at the moment. I'm not sure they're going in the right direction. And when I read the adult court bench book, it gives me even greater concerns. The jury trial is already under threat, as you probably know, in defamation cases. So I have three questions. Why does the government appear to be so terrified of decent British people sitting on juries? Are the government intent on further undermining the jury trial? And if they are, in any way, will they please undertake to have a full debate in this House before it happens?
Minister.
Well, first of all, if you'd heard my earlier answers, I made clear that the jury trial will remain a cornerstone of British justice for the most serious cases. Sir Brian Leveson, in his review, talks about whether it's appropriate and proportionate to have a jury trial, for example, in some of the most complex fraud cases. He also considers whether it's proportionate in cases where, say, for example, someone steals a bottle of whiskey. Is it appropriate to have a full jury trial with all the cost, expense and delay, which means that somebody who perhaps is a victim of rape is waiting 2-3 years for their day in court and means that that day will never come. But what I can undertake, as I said in opening, is that when we are ready with our package of reforms and response to this review, we will return to this House and a full debate can be had.
And she thought she was well clever there, didn't she? She thought that was a great answer. We've just read the story, you lying sack of rats. We've just read it. Have you noticed how she pulls that one out? Oh, if someone's just pinched a bottle of whiskey, we might not be able to help someone who's been sexually assaulted. We've just read it. The serious crimes are the ones that are going to be left to judges and magistrates, aren't they, you slack-jawed Jezebel? What do you think? We're all complete imbeciles. I'm not on the front bench. I can read and write, you dippy mare. It's right there in black and white in the Leveson report. Sexual assault, burglary, violence. They'll stitch it up. So if Ahmed diddles a few kids, he'll get 2 weeks in a static caravan at Lightwater Valley and then they'll let him off. Oh, he's been rehabilitated. We put him on the waltzers. It's total bollocks. This is what'll happen. You'll steal a bottle of whiskey and you'll get 5 years off a judge. But Ahmed Jabari Mukhtar, he'll get 2 weeks for setting an orphanage on fire. This is the world we live in. There is a two-tier justice system. Activists run it. Activist judges, activist lawyers, activist civil servants, and they've been told if somebody's on the victim pyramid, they're the victim. What's the famous Solzhenitsyn quote I keep telling you? Maybe I'm garbling it, so let's throw it up. Your punishment for having a knife when they searched you would be very different from the thief's. For him to have a knife was mere misbehaviour, tradition. He didn't know any better. But for you to have one was terrorism. That's it, verbatim. That's what happens when authoritarian governments enthralled to an ideology take over. They don't see the world clearly. If you're on the victim pyramid, you are the victim. You're only doing these nasty things. You're only diddling kids, dragging young women down alleys and horsing one into them against the will, robbing post offices, stabbing people to death, stabbing little kids in the eye. Rudu Kanubu's up for parole in about 30 years. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because that's their worldview. If you're on the pyramid, it's not your fault you committed the crimes. But if I steal something, it's definitely my fault. So I get jail time for it. If you're a middle-class housewife, but you're white and privileged, therefore, and you say something that the government don't like, 3 years in jail, no appeals. But if you're a son of the soils of Pakistan, to quote the formerly proper Scottish Prime Minister, Scottish as Ua Woolly and Iron Brew, if you're a son of the soil of somewhere else, as we've seen thousands of times at this point, you walk on a suspended sentence for violence, stabbings, sexual assaults, kiddie fiddling, kidnapping, serial diddling, the lot. So, to sum up, they are coming for all of your rights. I told you there were, you know it's happening. We're in the iron grip of an authoritarian statist, right? Keir Starmer, and don't talk about the Tories because they're just as bad. We need an alternative, anything. But all the big parties in the UK piss in the same pot. They think rights are for foreigners and not for Englishmen. They don't need to do this. They want to do this. But if you disagree and you think my idea is terrible, that we save jury trials for God-fearing Englishmen and every single person in the country illegally should just be instantly deported back to the home country. Poof, voila, problem solved. Let me know. Let me know if you think that's a terrible idea. Because if you do, you probably think reading, writing and arithmetic's a terrible idea. And instead, schools should be full of people in gimp suits reading hardcore pornography to children whilst showing them snuff movies. Okay, that's it for the day. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments and I'll see you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.